Mina ukujava ngakala ngingaka ngaze ngabangaka bheka manje sengingaka Mina ukujava ngakala ngingaka ngaze ngabangaka bheka manje sengingaka Diplomeni ziphalaphala
Beginning of the cave series, tattooing around the Western Cape caves. Up or down? You look like a mangy dog.
Tyler B. Murphy, how are you feeling today?
I'm alright. I'm in a cave doing a tattoo. John's dad collects spearheads that he finds. And
That's a hand axe.
hand axe, there you go.
Not the first. Do it again.
I know myself.
It's probably not the first time you've come over in a cave, bro.
Axe down, huh?
Yeah, point down.
Yo, it's like the same colour as this rock. I hope I don't get lost.
We put like in Africa, do you know that?
We planned it. Yeah,
We've been planning this for 25,000 years.
Are you getting the African outline on your How original.
And then we're going to Green Market Square, going to get his hair braided. This is a special goodness.
Okay. It's looking good.
That's the sound you want to hear.
You ever tried bending it into a square?
A triangle is the strongest shape.
So no.
So what you're looking at there is actually, it's an axe head, yeah?
Hand axe.
Hand axe. Okay. It is not an outline of Africa.
We should write not Africa.
Not Africa, but you should tell it.
Just us three guys and some needles and Vaseline.
What's that for? Wildlife. Sport.
400.
Shut up about lenses.
But, well, John is a photographer, and I thought that's what we were supposed to be talking about. It's not about fucking hand pokes, man. John, say something. Tell us.
What do you want to know?
Tell us about. Can you hear anything?
What I think about photography.
If
I like
you-
photos.
I like
I
photos.
really like photos, that's it. I like making photos.
Oh, yeah.
Pictures. Portraits. Portraits, a lot of portraits. People, the streets. Street shit.
And skate photography.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
But that's not your main focus.
That's not my main focus, no. I just do it because I enjoy it, I guess. And I have access to it. But streets is probably my main kind of focus and area of interest.
The eyesight's good.
2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get it tested?
Yeah. Last time I went home for a PDP thing.
That's like the AIDS test for travelling
So
back.
did you do a PDP because you want to be a taxi driver?
Yeah. Because my parents are from the Eastern Cape. I just figured it's
It's the right thing to do.
yeah. No, it's that came out really bad.
What
I
the eye
went-
test?
The PDP. No, I never got it. I just went and then I was going to do it and I never did it. Either PDP or license, something for a license, a motorbike license.
Are you shading it in? Huh?
Yeah, I'm going to shade it. Bought a wider liner to shade it with. No, this is the part that kid. This is all that other shit there in the west. That's all Ebola. Ebola territory. Just don't even put that in.
exactly right.
That's bullshit. Somali pirates up here, fuck those dudes. Djibouti, Eritrea, I want to know nothing.
Like a couple of dussies.
Make that fly go away. So I've been talking a lot about the second system. Like the first system would be the food, clothing and shelter, the hustle that you make to get all that stuff done.
Okay.
Because you can't avoid that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Very seldom can avoid it. The second system would be the things that you do to feed your other things that you like doing, you know?
Okay.
Regular folk, maybe it's shopping and alcohol artists, and there's another thing that they have to feed and how they feed it. That's like kind of what's interesting to me, and it's not monetary based, and it's kind of immeasurable in a lot of ways, you know. There's not a lot of words for it, and I was just interested in the idea of tattooing other artists and photographers and skaters, and then talking to them about how they see that second system and the function of it, and what they do and what they're willing to risk and sacrifice and go without in order to satisfy this thing that may not make sense to other people around them, you know, and just their understanding of what that creating that other system is. People in this country that tattoo like this, that would write on walls and that would tattoo their faces, you know, and half the one group is serious criminals and the others like my mates, you know, writing on walls and tattooing their faces and hands, and you know, there's like two extreme things, and both of those guys have created a second system through, as in a way of negotiating the world, you know, because that first system isn't, they're not winning, they're not coming right in that, so they'll do their own thing, you know. So like, you know, like quite a bit from us talking and from, you know, you learning yourself about prison gangs and street gangs and that whole thing.
I think for me it's how they kind of deal with whatever they're dealt, you know what I mean, in terms of prison gangs or street gangs. If I just think about things I've seen, it's that it's almost like a circumstantial hand down, you know what I mean, or kind of hereditary. Right?
Yeah.
Daddy was a gangster, grandpa was a gangster. So
Because you've been photographing a lot of gang
yeah,
graffiti
just
and stuff.
graffiti and stuff, and things related to spaces, you know. It's interesting to me to see how people interact within a space, you know, no man's land, but they still belong to someone or some group of people, you know, in a certain way, and how they negotiate those environments, you know. That to me is really interesting, because you'll see them, but you won't see them. You'll just see the markings and these patches of this kind of I don't know, like foreign language or rubbish to other people, but to me it's really interesting.
It's like mysterious. It's like I was saying to this gangster that I tattooed, saying it's numbers gangs is almost like Freemasonry for the poor criminal classes, and it's like equally intriguing to me. You know, it's this thing that's not available to me. The same way as like Freemasonry isn't really like readily available unless you're like all in. You know, it's right there, but it's not right there. I like the idea of understanding both those systems. You know, the sort of super wealthy elite that like making huge decisions that affect everything, and then this numbers gang, all the symbols and all the underground, like how to live. Agter's starting a school, and I was talking to him about the idea of getting out of work taxi drivers and taxi gachis to teach kids from middle to upper class schools about life on the streets and how to live and how to eat out of a bin and how to, like zombie training, you know, like street training, just like what to look for, what to say or not say when confronted with a situation in the street where things could look like they could get bad, you know, what to do or not to do. And then the same way those guys could then, the kids that they're teaching could then trade off, you know, like they're letting you into the little bit of this sort of like criminal mindset, which in turn would basically make it harder for them to get their criminal shit done, you know. But in exchange, they could then be like, cool, I'll switch you on to some new stuff. I'll show you how to use the internet and watch videos on YouTube and educate yourself on little things, you know. Because you can type in anything on YouTube and get a bit of a how-to feel for things, you know, and like just see funny stuff, and just sort of plug people into that, and then just how to dress and speak to people and what to do and not to do, you know, from both sides.
Yeah.
Like how to not get robbed, how to like get a job, you know. I remember bringing some old shirts to work to give to somebody, and this guy came in looking for work, and we're like, no, we don't have them. Like, wait, you know, then like the guy who was working in the front, like, wait, call him back, you know. And then I gave him all these shirts. I'm like, dude, you can't come looking for work in a huge jacket on a hot day. You look homeless, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You might be homeless, you probably are, but it doesn't matter. You've got to look like you can't have your whole life on your back, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple, stupid thing, but it's just like I pick up on that totally, you know what I mean. And for him, he probably wouldn't see that and be just like, no one's ever going to give me a job. What's going on? This sucks, you know. It's like, yeah, because you look
unprepared.
Yeah, you look like desperate and shit.
Yeah. One picture outside an antique store, and the woman said to me, "Oh, I see you're supportive of graffiti." And I just, you know, my response was kind of, this is far bigger than, you know, your blue wall outside and fear of fear of graffiti, rather, you know. There's a bigger thing here.
What is it like?
It's a note from someone to their mother saying, "Forgive me, I must go study the book of HR," which is like,
that's so serious.
Mom, don't wait for me. I can study the book of HR, and that's some of the heaviest stuff there is, I guess. I mean, from my limited understanding of the system.
Yeah, we'll never totally know. And I mean, there's a thing like with that second system. There is so many levels of acceptance and like your ego like dropping out because you're like, okay, cool, I'm never going to be the best at this because the best is immeasurable in so many ways with a lot of the things that we're into.
Yeah.
And you just get like zoned into the thing that you're doing. Like in my workshop, like just cleaning the floor and scrubbing stuff up is the same to me as like making a painting there or something. Like you know, it's all part of just feeding that creative thing. It's just like
Just that process.
it's lame. It's like it's the journey, not the destination. But it's fucking that. You know, all these things that we just don't question. We do because it's the shit we want to do. You know, that makes sense to us. And like, if you start just chasing monetary gain, it's lame because that shit doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the process is eliminated in that monetary chase.
Yeah, but like as a tattooer, you're lucky because it's a mix. You know what I mean? The monetary aspect has been worked in.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing graffiti as a job, painting walls and stuff, it was always a struggle. Like how much you're going to charge and what and how, and you know, like it's a weird thing. But like with tattooing, it's like like the money side's taken care of, so you can just the first system stuff gets sorted, and then you can just get down to like dorking out on art and.
It's a massive kind of hurdle, that compromise, you know, when you start, or where like the money thing, as an image maker or a photographer, whatever it is, you constantly have to struggle with that kind of thing. People don't trust you. They don't want to give you money to do anything because they think that someone else could do it for cheaper. You know what I mean? The level of trust and understanding is so difficult to attain. And that's that first system thing that you have to cross. So then you sit like where, what are you sacrificing and what are you giving up in order to make that bit of cash to whatever, pay rent or eat some chows or
trains, oh fuck, I saw these kids yesterday throwing stones at the train.
Really?
You're like, bastard kids. And then you're like, I did that as well, so actually.
It's okay.
You can't really hate on them, yeah.
Where were you?
Dangers, in Swine.
Shabin that you showed me, or that kind of tavern that you showed me.
That Smoky by your house.
Yeah, that is clearly connected to, or I'm assuming that it's connected to some, because of the markings and things around. So what is the average Joe like us, you know, in terms of them? What happened? You know, how do we go in? Do you walk in there? Does the exchange change in any way?
No, I think that should be it's fine. We used to just go there. As you sit there and drink there in the kitchen.
I thought you lived in Fisher.
I live in Komaki as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What do you take me for?
When was that?
I was a child. Comic is the worst. I lived on a dirt road. You're a skateboarder living on a dirt road.
Did you give him those mountain boards?
No.
Spin it.
Yeah, but it didn't. You got a tattoo of this thing.
Fleshed out.
So I just do the needle coming out. Okay.
We can document it.
I'm gonna eat Vaseline. Not again. The thing I find interesting about hand poke tattoos is that it's the... No, I don't find anything interesting about it. I'm sorry, I lied. They're not interesting at all. Shit, boy, cushion.
Oh, cave comforts.
Yeah.
Those guys that like the gangsters and stuff that tattoo them or do hand poke tattoos or kind of spake it up and home jobs.
Yeah.
Do you think they can spot a hand poke tattoo? So, for instance.
Yeah, usually. That's why I get irritated with dudes. Like, oh, it's a piece. Like, it's like, dude, you can tell I don't have the same tattoos as well. You know, I've got like one that's a proper spake chop, the rest are not. You know.
Yeah.
And still, they come with this crap. Like, they know enough to know that it's not the same shit. You know what I mean? But often, like when you have a proper conversation with some of the gangsters and they look at your stuff and they're like, oh no, that's an assumpta. And they're like, no, it's not as good. You know, it's like. The real deal isn't the real deal is like spaker chops. You know?
Yeah.
But like often as well, when you really start getting into it with these dudes, they hate their tattoos. You know?
Oh, well, it serves a different purpose, I guess.
Yeah, and on the outside, it doesn't really have the same function. You're just holding them back. You know? The wind is coming.
So the
It's
reason
pretty much done anyways.
So the reason we've sped up is because there's a cold front coming in.
And you can see the wind on the water.
You normally could, but not my camera and the lens is on here right now. I don't know what the sound's gonna sound like on this. The whole conversation might be like, oh, rad, but fuck.
Remember that time we talked?
We made a video.
Are you done, eh? Oh yeah. That's just rainwater.
Mina ukujava ngakala ngingaka ngaze ngabangaka bheka manje sengaka. Mina ukujava ngakala ngingaka ngaze ngabangaka bheka manje sengaka. Diplomeni ziphalaphala phakathi kwekaraka. Diplomeni ziphalaphala phakathi kwekaraka. Ubumnandi aphelele okishini, ubumnandi aphelele okishini noma nini. Izinja zami zidlele komishini, izinja zami zidlele komishini noma yini. Apikara vele polishi, wasiqala clever lo mission. Uyasishaya indlela love akufeel, singamapanto light.